Hi there, Scorpio. Thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for July. How have you been finding Saturn's presence back in your sign since halfway through June? The last couple of weeks may have seen a little bit of a change of an emphasis. Perhaps it's more about some creative plans that you need to go forwards with. You're really needing to grapple with those. And it may have felt a little bit in the last 2 weeks before this month began that it was 1 step forwards and 2 steps back. So how do things look as this month begins? Well, actually, there's a strong emphasis on growth, expansion, and new adventures and opportunities, with both the Sun and Mars in the part of your scope that's to do with being much more independently minded and really experiencing new vistas. So exciting stuff. But also, there is a full moon on the 2nd, and this full moon occurs in the sign of Capricorn. This is going to be linking in to the rather dreamy energies of Neptune, which is in a very romantic part of your horoscope. But I do feel that communications are going to be critical to you this month. And I'm going to say this with the utmost sincerity. Scorpio people are often very, very genuine in the sense that if you feel something needs to be said, you just will say it. But there's another side to you that can actually be much more disguised and discreet about your own emotional inner workings. But your two ruling planets of Mars and Pluto are going to have one big squabble this month from the 9th to the 19th. And it could be that someone's going to inflict upon you a kind of straightforward critique of you and how you approach things in a way which you may find rocks you back on your heels. Someone could be that blunt, but they may feel, well, that's the kind of way you've been to me, and I'm now just letting you know that if I've got something to say to you, I'm going to be equally to the point. So you need to prepare yourself for that. There could be a major clash of wills this month, but you may encounter someone who's just as determined and just as passionate as you, and they may feel that they know best. And that's not necessarily going to be easy to deal with. However, Venus, the planet of love and affection, is high in the sky, especially in the first 18 days of this month, and in the first 2 weeks of this month, it's combining beautifully with Jupiter. And if you can really embrace a more diplomatic approach, and especially at work, a relationship that's building up there can have a sensational influence on your prospects. But if you demand that everything is on your terms, in the way that you see it, this could be a month when there could be really some quite big disagreements. I'm really being honest about that. And with Saturn now in your sign, this can suddenly make you feel much more cramped up again. And if there were any issues in the last 6 months of last year of difficulty, they can come back into focus now, between now and mid-September. So don't take anything for granted around life's limitations, or perhaps to do with some of your own need to focus on what's really important and not ignore issues that perhaps are a little bit more tricky for you to grapple with. Venus also is in a difficult angle with Saturn. So from the 7th to the end of the month, once more, if it's a case of you, however charming you're being, are still really basically, as other people see it, not me, wanting things exactly as you see them, that can also cause a challenge in a more personal, romantic context as well. From the 22nd and the 23rd, how you fit into the wider world is really going to come under the astral microscope as the Sun and Mercury relocate into the sign of Leo. But Venus then, having moved on the 19th into your sector of friendships, slams on the brakes, goes into a retrograde, as does Uranus. And I think this can give you food for thought, particularly around friendships and particularly around your work. And if work is an area of stress for you, maybe this is something you really need to get into terms with finally as this month draws to a close, and you may find yourself applying for a new position in a completely different context, liberating you from something that maybe has served a role for you for a very long time but perhaps is no longer really appropriate. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you for joining me. Good luck and goodbye for now.